Hello everyone, here's a story for the Silly Squad and it's called The Three Confused Bears. Once upon a time there were three bears, a great big daddy bear, a medium-sized mummy bear and a teeny tiny baby bear. They lived in a cave among some rocks at the edge of a wide beach of beautiful golden sand. One morning, while Mummy Bear was making their breakfast, the wind blew in from the sea and she started to complain. "I'm fed up with living in this cold, damp cave. The sand keeps getting in the porridge, and if anyone else comes tiptoeing through here 'cause they're on a bear hunt, I'm going to scream." So after breakfast, they all set out to find somewhere else to live. The first place they came to was a giant beanstalk, whose top was so high up that it disappeared among the clouds. Overhead, thick, glossy leaves rustled and the beanstalk swayed gently in the breeze. The three bears peered up into the gloom. "Let's try up there," said Mummy Bear, pointing skywards. "It looks easy enough to climb, and we should be safe from bear hunters." Well, after lots of huffing and puffing, they climbed to the top. And what do you think they found? A huge castle. The three bears crossed the drawbridge and then they all squeezed under the door. They found themselves in a vast, gloomy hallway. Gigantic cobwebs hung in the corners like great grey banners, and scattered around the room were enormous pieces of furniture. The chairs were so high that even Daddy Bear couldn't climb onto them. Suddenly, the ground began to shake and they heard a noise like an earthquake. It was the giant who lived in the castle, stomping downstairs looking for something to eat. He was so hungry that his stomach rumbled like an angry thunderstorm. As he came into the hall, his great voice boomed out, "Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of..." "The three bears? Quick, run for it," shouted Daddy Bear as a huge boot thudded down next to him. So, quick as a flash, they all skedaddled out of the castle and came back down the beanstalk, leaving a very confused giant scratching his head and wondering where on earth Jack had got to. "I'm not living up there," said Mummy Bear. "It's much too dangerous. We might all get squished by his big boots. And think of all that dusting. I thought the sand was bad enough." And she shuddered at the thought. Soon they were stumbling and tripping their way through a deep, dark forest. The trees grew so close together that it was very, very gloomy. "Oh, I don't like this," whispered Baby Bear. "It's very scary." "It's okay," said Daddy Bear soothingly. "I can see light ahead." As they stepped out of the forest into a large sunny clearing, they saw a pool of crystal clear water reflecting the blue sky and a few fluffy clouds. A large chocolate frog sitting on a lily pad in the middle of the pond gave a loud "rip" and jumped into the water with a plop that sent ripples dancing across its surface. A small grey bird, hiding in the reeds at the edge of the pond, quacked sadly. And there at the back of the glade, surrounded by a fence of sugared sponge fingers, stood a lovely little cottage made out of gingerbread with pink and white roses iced onto its walls. Before Mummy or Daddy Bear could stop him, Baby Bear opened the gate, which was made out of Wonka chocolate bars, and ran up the digestive biscuit path to the house. Here he took a huge bite out of the porch. Delicious," he said. spraying out a mouthful of crumbs. "Don't talk with your mouth full, dear. You know it's rude," said Mummy Bear.
"Caught you at last, you horrible little kids!"
a voice cackled from inside the house.
"I'll teach you to eat my house, you little hooligans!"
The door flew open, and an ugly old witch with a huge pointed chin and a hairy wart at the end of her crooked nose came running out and bumped straight into Daddy Bear. She fell over backwards and landed in a heap on the floor. When she looked up and saw Daddy Bear looming over her, she screamed,
"Ah, a bear! A dirty great big bear! Get away from me, you nasty brute!"
And she started to hit poor old Daddy Bear with her broom. Well, the three bears ran away as fast as their legs would carry them. "I don't think we'll live there," said Daddy Bear when they stopped to catch their breath. "The neighbours aren't very friendly." "And all that sickly sweet stuff would rot Baby Bear's teeth," added Mummy Bear. Baby Bear just looked sad at the thought of no more gingerbread. The bears plodded on through the wood until at last they came to a road paved with yellow bricks. By now they were very, very tired and very, very, very hungry. From behind them came the sound of hooves clopping along the road, and before they knew what was happening, around the corner swept a small coach made from a pumpkin, pulled by 6 beautiful white horses, who used to be rats. I was one of them, which is how I know this story. Inside the coach was a young lady in a sparkly pink Versace party frock and Diamante encrusted Jimmy Choo pumps. It was Cinderella on her way to the prince's ball. The coach slowed down as it passed the three bears, and Cinderella leaned out of the window. "You three look tired," she said. "Hop in, I'll give you a lift." While they were riding in the coach, the three bears told Cinderella all about their search for a new house. "Well, you could call in the Three Pigs Construction Company," said Cinderella, "but to tell the truth, they're a bunch of cowboys, and their houses usually blow down at the first puff of wind." She popped a whipple scrumptious fudge mallow delight into her mouth and thought for a moment. Finally, she clicked her fingers and said, "I think I know just the person who might be able to help you. If I'm not mistaken, here she is." Standing at the side of the road, with a basket of goodies on her arm, was a little girl wearing a red cape and hood. When Cinderella told Little Red Riding Hood about the three bears' problem, she smiled a great big smile. "Come with me to Granny's house. I think we can help each other out. We'll take the shortcut," she added, diving back into the wood. Soon, Little Red Riding Hood, the three bears, and Granny were sitting around the kitchen table, eating marmalade, honey sandwiches, and drinking lashings of ginger pop. Suddenly, the door burst open with a terrible crash, and in rushed the big bad wolf. "Okay, Granny, it's time to get eaten," he roared. Then he caught sight of the three bears. "Oh, Granny, what big friends you've got."
"All the better to chase you off with,"
said Granny, shaking her walking stick at the wolf. Daddy Bear grinned a great big grin which showed off all his big white pointy teeth. The big bad wolf howled like a scary cat and ran away as fast as a frightened rabbit with his tail between his legs, which nearly tripped him up. Well, the three bears moved into Granny's house with her. Mummy Bear made her porridge for breakfast every morning, and they all lived happily ever after. Until one day, a little girl called Goldilocks came by while they were all taking a pre-breakfast walk. But that, as they say, is another story. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed that. And did you spot all the children's stories that were referenced? Goodbye.